Good morning, everyone. Today is the 19th of August, Saturday morning. We're having a good weekend so far. We're ready for the 23rd chapter of Matthew this morning. And my little dog is wanting attention this morning. Go lay down now. Go lay down. Come on. Anyway, ready for the 23rd chapter of Matthew. Then Jesus spoke to the multitudes and his disciples, saying, "The scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat." What does he mean by that? The scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. Well, God used Moses to bring the people the law, didn't he not? Remember when they was going to bring them down the Ten Commandments, and they were all worshiping the golden calf, and he got angry and cast them down, and they broke into hundreds of pieces. The law, Ten Commandments. Moses brought them the law. The scribes and Pharisees brought them the law. They sat in Moses' seat. They tried to bring everybody under the law. Jesus Christ brought grace. Jesus Christ did not bring people under the law. He brought them under grace. He brought them under the new covenant. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do, but do ye after their works, for they say and do not. They say and do not. I've yet to meet anyone on the face of the earth other than Christ, and I hope I've met him, that have kept the law perfectly. The law is a schoolmaster to bring us to Christ, to realize we can't keep the law. They bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. It's pretty easy to go around telling everybody else what they should be doing. Get the beam out of our own eye. I'm talking to myself this morning. It's real easy to bring other people under the law, but we're not under the law. We're under grace if we're one of God's children. If we're under the law, we're all going to be condemned. I don't want to be judged by the law. I don't know about you. I don't want to be judged by the law. I want to be judged by the grace of God. But all their works they do to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries, and enlarge the borders of their garments. I was in a office of a gal that works in mental health recently, and I couldn't believe all the degrees on her wall. And they called her doctor. She had made broad her phylacteries, enlarged the borders of her garments. I won't even put my degree up on my wall. I can't really say I'm proud of my degree from the University of Kansas with a major in psychology. I've had to pretty much renounce everything I've been taught by secular education. It's all a bunch of lies. And they love the uppermost rooms of feast and the chief seats in the synagogues. Paul talked about a gentleman in the New Testament that wanted preeminence, wanted to be seen of men, liked their titles of elders and bishops and deacons and pastors and doctors. They loved the uppermost rooms of feasts and the chief seats in the synagogues, and greetings in the market, doctor, doctor, rabbi, rabbi, to be called of men rabbi, rabbi. Be not ye called rabbi, for one is your master, even Christ are ye brethren. I have my master's degree and master's of divinity degree. I have my PhD piled higher and deeper. I have my doctor of divinity. Doctor of divinity? Really? You're a doctor of divine? They used to call some of the old teachers the divines. They're not divine. There's only one divine. That's Jesus Christ. Call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father which is in heaven. Roman Catholic Church calls their Pope Holy Father. He's not holy, and he's not a father. He's not my father. Neither be ye called masters. Master's College, Master of Divinity, Master of Psychology, Master of Counseling, Master of Sociology, Master of Anthropology, Master of Education. Be ye called masters, for one is your master, even Christ. He that is the greatest among you shall be your servant. Whoever shall exalt himself shall be abased. He that shall humble himself shall be exalted. We've got everything turned around. We've got all these people today sitting in Moses' seat. You're Pharisees sitting in Moses' seat, trying to bring people under the law. Well, Christ says, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye shut up the kingdom of heaven against men, for ye neither go in yourself, neither suffer ye them that are entering in. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make a long prayer. Therefore ye shall receive the greater damnation. Wow. All these people are trying to bring people under the law and are taking from widows' houses and are making long prayers in the marketplace. Christ says they're going to receive greater damnation. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye compass sea and land to make one proselyte, and when he is made, ye make him too horrible, the child of hell, than yourselves. Woe unto you, blind guides, which say, whosoever shall swear by the temple, it is nothing, but whosoever shall swear by the gold of the temple, he is a debtor. Ye fools and blind, for whether is it greater the gold of the temple, that sanctifieth the gold, and whosoever shall swear by the altar, it is nothing, but whosoever sweareth by the gift is upon it, he is guilty. You know, some of these churches have very, very expensive altars, don't they? They admonish their people to come down to the altar, worship before the altar. Ye fools and blind, for whether is greater the gift of the altar that sanctifieth the gift? Whosoever there shall swear by the altar sweareth by it, and by all things thereon. And whosoever shall swear by the temple sweareth by it, and by him that dwelleth therein. And he that shall swear by heaven sweareth by the throne of God, and him that sitteth thereon. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye pay tithe of mint and anise, and come in and have permitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye to have done, but not to leave the other undone. Ye blind guides, ye strain at a gnat and swallow at a camel. Ye strain at a gnat and swallow at a camel. That's what they do, isn't it? Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess. Well, I hope that convicts all of us. Thou blind Pharisee, and cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you're like unto whited sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones, and are all uncleanness. You know, that's every one of us. That includes me, that includes you, that includes everyone. We all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. Even so ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. Apart from the grace of God, that's all of us. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you build the tombs of the prophets and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous. Build the tombs of the prophets, garnish the sepulchres of the righteous, yea. I've often said I don't subscribe to these statutes of John Calvin and Martin Luther and Billy Graham and John Tyndale and Huss and all these. And they say if we had been in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets. Oh, if it only lived back then, the good old days. Look at how our society has become so debauched. Yes, it has, but it's always been debauched. Wherefore ye be witnesses unto yourselves that ye are the children of them which killed the prophets. We're all from Adam, aren't we? We all died in Adam. Fill ye up then the measure of your fathers, ye serpents, ye generations of vipers. How can ye escape the damnation of hell? Wherefore, behold, I send you unto you prophets and wise men and scribes, and some of them ye shall kill and crucify, and some of them ye shall scourge in your synagogues and persecute them from city to city. I've often said there are two kinds of people. There's the persecuted and the persecutors, and I've been one of each in my lifetime. That upon you may come all the righteous blood shed upon the earth, from the blood of righteous Abel unto the blood of Zacharias, son of Barachias, whom ye slew between the temple and the altar. Verily I say unto you, all these things shall come upon this generation. O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets, and stonest them which are sent unto thee, how often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathered her chickens under her wings, and ye would not. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. For I say unto you, shall not see me henceforth till you shall say, Blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. Well, this is a hard message, is it not? When he starts out and says that the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. That is what many religious leaders are doing today. Have you ever sat in Moses' seat? I know I have. Trying to bring people under the law. We should be proclaiming amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost and now found, was blind, but now I see. It was grace that taught my heart to fear. You know, do you think that you can be closer to God by more perfectly keeping the law? I remember as a young child, church I attended, they one time were against wearing neckties. And then they approved people wearing black neckties. They couldn't wear any colored neckties, only black neckties. You know, the Amish church has a rule that you cannot have wooden wheels on your wagon. You got to have steel wheels on your wagon. The Mennonites have a rule you only can drive black cars, full of dead men's bones. You know what I'm saying? That's just a couple, 3 examples. You know, when you start trying to bring people under the law, you tell them they have to subscribe to a Westminster Confession of Faith that's been changed umpteen times. You have to say that there are means of grace in the sacraments. When you have to subscribe to infant baptism. When you have to subscribe to all of these rules and regulations to be a Christian. And the only rule of faith and life is that we have been called of God and we've been chosen in Him from the foundation of the world. And that we recognize that all grace comes from our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. It doesn't come from anything other than that. We subscribe to the Heidelberg Confession and the Canons of Dort and the Belgic Confession. Well, I subscribe to the Bible. Okay? And I'm talking to myself. I need to be careful not to sit in Moses' seat. That's my thoughts on this chapter this morning. Are we scribes and Pharisees sitting in Moses' seat? I hope not. May the good Lord be with you this day is my prayer. God bless.